know I love a good camping hack, and I've certainly tried my share. Some are fun, but they just don't make it into the usual rotation. So these are some of the MVPs that I use over and over. First, a quick disclaimer, these are relevant to my particular style of camping. So most are for cooking and cleanup, because when I camp, I mostly cook, and I hate to clean. This is a hack that I have not tried. Saw it on Instagram. The deal is you have just a paper bag full of bits of wood and your duff and paper and whatever, and you just light the bag. Alright, I'm not even going to use the butane torch. I use just a lighter, like a normal person. Not bad. See if it stays burning. And then oh, I forgot you're supposed to put some logs around it. Totally forgot. You're supposed to put like 4 logs around it. Hopefully I'm not too late. Kind of like a lazy way of building a log cabin or a teepee. Alright, even with my little screw up, seems to work. Alright, we gotta go shopping. Got a pretty good sized bag of sticks. And then I only have the logs. This one piece of spruce. There we go. I think it has to do with the wood that was in here because the wood I brought from home was very dry. It's been cured for quite a while. This is just off the forest floor. So this is what you get. Got my dryer lint. Also for fire starting or fire maintaining, I got this little blow tube. It's great for supplying some oxygen to a struggling fire without, killing your lungs. I got these leather work gloves from Harbor Freight. I think they were about $3.50. And they are perfect for moving some firewood around, even if it's kind of burning a little bit, be careful. And you could arrange your fire without getting your hands all sooty and keeping them safe. There are a few things I do to save space, especially in my cooking setup. To be fair, these are for me as a solo camper who usually just spends one night. So I don't like to bring an entire roll of aluminum foil. I don't like to bring an entire roll of paper towels. I just like to bring what I need. So for aluminum foil, this is what I usually do. It's just maybe a foot, maybe 2, and then just folded neatly and wrapped around my spray oil. And I put it on with a couple rubber bands. And then you have rubber bands too. So that's my aluminum foil. This is my paper towels. I think I usually bring about a half dozen. I also usually bring several like junky cloths that I don't care if they're sooty and gross. But sometimes you just need a paper towel. I usually throw a few Ziplocs in too. I'll have like a couple sandwich bags stuffed into a gallon zip and then rolled up and also stuffed in here. If you bring canned goods, like I was going to bring pie filling and you're not going to use the whole thing, I like to keep a pet food can lid. This is one of those that you can, that's for multiple sizes. So little one for hatch green chilies, big one for full size. And that way I could just put it on here and then put it in the fridge or the cooler if you have a cooler. Tools, a couple good tools. Kitchen shears. I love having kitchen shears because then you don't have to use a knife and a cutting board. Then you have to clean your cutting board. Then you have your hand on the food. If I have the Ziploc bag, I'll hold the food with the Ziploc bag or latex gloves. We're running low on latex gloves, so I didn't bring any, but I like to bring a couple pairs of latex gloves for like raw meat and stuff like that. And then you can, this, so good for so many things. And I prefer the kind that disassemble so you can put in the dishwashers. They got a little rust on them, unfortunately, but. And these have other applications too. I don't even know what all the little slots and things are for, but there's a serrated knife basically, and then a straight knife. And then I think you can use the handles for something too, maybe shellfish. Oh, there's a bottle opener and a flathead screwdriver. It's like the Swiss Army knife of scissors. And I want to say under $10 on Amazon. And speaking of canned goods, most of them are pop top, pull top these days, but sometimes you get a can opener kind. Those are really big. This thing I've had literally for decades, I want to say, at least 15 years. Maybe 20, and it's a Japanese style can opener. It's kind of like the military ones that are really small, but it's bigger, and I can use it. And you just swivel it on up there. It also has a bottle opener. Also in here I have a cheap pot grabber. I very rarely need it, but I think it was about $3 on $2 maybe on Temu, and that's just for hot pots if you don't have a handle on them. And I put a binder clip on there to keep it compact. Also, to keep your hands clean, little tongs. I think I have 2 pair. One is more for coals, moving coals around. This one is for food. I don't like cleaning things, so. In this case is a pencil case. It's just a pencil case, and it has done great. This is a Dollar Tree little spatula, and I keep my Opinel knife in here, and it's got 2 compartments and this little zipper one. I've got my straw, wine opener, my silverware. I do have Ziploc. See, I told you I always carry a Ziploc. So in a pinch, that'll work as a food handling glove. And then my bigger stuff back here, chopsticks, and this knife, which a viewer sent me, and I use the heck out of it. It is wicked sharp. This is the Sanbon brand. I forget what the shape of this knife is in Japanese. And then it just closes like that. This is the olive handle one. That's all my kitchen tools pretty much right there. In an earlier video I talked about the emergency pantry, but in case you missed it, here it is, and it's a silicone reusable bag, but I've got some hot sauces and some hand wipes, a packet of oatmeal, a protein bar, some chicken bouillon, instant coffee, a packet of sweetened condensed milk. Oh, I got 2 coffees. And that's pretty much it, other than the hot emergency Tabasco. So, just in case you're really hard up, like I lost all my food, or for some reason I'm stuck for another day. This will probably get me through another day. I'll be hungry. So it's handy, and also if you're cold, you know, a little thing of hot chicken bouillon feels good. A little caffeine, This is just like to get you through. And I swap the stuff out periodically. Now I eat these pretty much every time I go, so I always have to replace the protein bar. And this is another hack that is inspired by social media. There's somebody that I follow who puts everything in a piping bag, like hummus and whatever, and she just pipes it on everything. I love that. I don't do piping bags, I have Ziploc bags. So I'm gonna try it with this bruschetta sauce that I actually used last time. So I'm gonna cut it kind of wide because it's chunky. Definitely do not include the little, whoa, so much for keeping your hands clean because it just got all over mine. I think I still have my wet paper towel here. Okay. The thing, I don't know if you would call it a hack or just sheer laziness, but I generally do not do dishes when I'm camping. I just kind of wipe everything down or scrape it off as best I can. And typically I have a crate or a tub, and I just throw every dirty dish in there. We're all loaded up, got trash, dirty dishes, our fire thing, and just gotta get that guy. This is one a viewer suggested, and I haven't had a chance to use it over a fire yet, but I have been using the heck out of it at home. And that is if you do any pie iron cooking, get some parchment paper, and you can get these squares on Amazon, and they're for, I think they're for separating hamburger patties, but they have been great as far as reducing stickiness, and if it does stick, it's on the paper, you just peel it off and throw it away. Now, I do enjoy having this drawer fridge so much, but the downside is it is a single compartment, it is a fridge only, or if you crank the temperature way down, it is a freezer only. So I don't get ice or ice cream or any of that kind of thing. But I have a hack, and that is if you really want just some ice, which sometimes I do, I just freeze a little water in this hydro flask. It's a food jar. And after a whole day of travel, this has been in a fridge, you get a big cube and some water. So I usually just drink the water because you need to hydrate. And you're left with one big cube, which is perfect for, say, a whiskey-based beverage. You could put it in a different glass, but this is an insulated highball. In colder weather, I bring a spare pillow, which is actually my sleeping bag, stuffed into a zippered pillowcase. If I don't need it, then I just have an extra pillow. If I do, then I can use the empty pillowcase as a dirty clothes bag. It's also easier to cram into than a stuff sack. If it's warm enough, I prefer not to use a sleeping bag, but I hate my blanket slipping off my feet. So I clamp my bedding to the cot at the foot and at the outside. Sometimes I also use a combination of clips and this fleece little bag. I think I got it from Walmart ages ago. And I put my inflatable pad in here, and it keeps it in place, and it makes the inflatable pad a little nicer and comfier. Right, Douglas? Don't you make biscuits on my pad? I have had this cheapo headlamp forever, and it works fantastic. It's got 2 settings. But in addition to using it for a headlamp, I like to keep it right here. Then you have a reading light. And then it's also easily accessible. You just reach over your head and then you have your headlamp. Down here under the bed, I have an entire bag of things for attaching things. I have clips, I have S-hooks. I have a box of carabiners and clothespins, rubber bands, twist ties, zip ties. You never know what you're gonna need in here. In this bag, separately, I keep magnets because magnets being magnets, they, stick to each other. But I bought these for attaching a tarp to the roof. And I do try, since these are not the damage-free kind, I put the tarp under it and clip to the rings, but I use these for sticking the trash can to the side. A million uses for having magnet things. And speaking of attaching things, I love Velcro things because we have this carpeted texture if you still have your rear seat, so these are just Velcroed on. The ceiling you can Velcro to. Of course, I use these motion lights all the time in here, and it's got the hook side, and so you can just place them wherever you need. They hook, but they don't hook really strong, which is actually perfect because I don't want to fuzz up my interior too much. This strip has Velcro. Basically, I just got a roll of Velcro, adhesive Velcro tape, and I just use like the hook side on everything. I have so much extra loop side. The loop side can be used for a little rattle reduction, so I have some on here to keep this D-ring from hitting. So there's a use for your loop side. I've got it on the other one too. These are handy sometimes too. I got a pack of these from Temu, and it's just 2 clips with some braided paracord in the middle. I'm sure there are plenty more of these hacks and tips and gadgets that I completely forgot about. So I guess you'll just have to keep watching these little excursions to see if you can spot them.